Hey everybody, that's Rob.
That's Marcy.
And we're the Handmade Harrells.
We are.
He never wants to say that along with me.
Handmade Harriells.
It's got such a ring to it.
So ringy.
We're coming at you today from Rob's hometown, outside of New York.
The beautiful Ozark Mountains,
That's
indeed.
right.
The sun is shining through the leaves. They're sparkling.
Well, I didn't know we were going to get a weather report, but we did. We got a comment from one of our viewers. Andrea Palmer said, I loved watching your video. Very entertaining and also logical. Thank you. I rarely think of myself as logical, so that's good to hear.
You're logical.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Would you be interested in doing a video on how to make dining scarves? They are a substitute for bibs for older adults who have trouble when eating.
Wow.
Now, I'll tell you what, I never heard of a dining bib. Did you?
Never have in my life.
But when we landed here, lo and behold, the ladies of the house have a couple of dining bibs. Oh, hello, Rob's mom.
Hello, Rob's mom's hand.
Oh my goodness, would you like to join us on camera? Oh no, wait, now I need the bib.
We can't get her on camera, folks.
She will not be on camera.
You would love her.
You would love her. I love her.
Mom.
Today, I'm going to teach y'all how to make a dining bib.
You know what? I gotta say something. I don't think these are just for older adults.
No.
I mean,
No.
people all over the place are slopping food all over themselves.
I'm a very messy eater because I'm a frat boy when I eat, as evidenced by earlier videos.
You're not. You eat so slowly.
Yeah, but I eat voraciously.
Whatever.
Let's go.
Let's go.
For this dining scarf, you will need contrasting fabric. 100% cotton is best because obviously this is meant to catch spills, and red wine and juice of filet mignon, so you're going to want to throw it in the wash, a lot. Cotton is best for that. You're going to need a couple of packs of bias tape, some matching thread, a tape measure, pins, and some sort of closure. I'm going to use these hooks and eyes. You could also use Velcro dots, which would make the making of this even easier than it already is. You guys, this is gonna be so easy. Think Christmas gifts, Kwanzaa gifts, Hanukkah gifts, anytime gifts in bulk. So I took a look at this bib, this dining scarf, this dining accoutrement, and really, you guys, it's just one long rectangle. This particular bib / scarf measures 9.5 inches wide by 58.5 inches long. But if you a shorty like me, or like most of the people in my half and Rob's half of the family, you don't need 58.5 inches to bib yourself up. I got a couple of remnants at the Madame Joann's. This is quilting cotton, so that comes in like a 45-inch width. So that's what I'm going with, and I'm gonna cut it on the cross grain, which is just fine because it's just a dining scarf. It's just a rectangle. It's not gonna have to like stretch across your hips or like do kind of crazy duty while you're walking around. She said duty. The first thing we need to do is measure our fabric. And by measure our fabric, I mean we are going to snip and rip, my favorite way to get an on-grain rectangle or square or straight grain of fabric. So I'm going to measure 9 inches across because I don't want to deal with no ½ inch. My scarf is going to be 9 inches wide. There is 9. Take my scissors and snip right at 9 inches, and here comes the ripping part. Perfect rectangle of fabric. How fun is that? We had a cat once that whenever I ripped polyester, he went running for the hills, because when you rip polyester, it sounds like the world is ending because, it's polyester. Ripping cotton is a much gentler sound. Oh, okay, let's just do a little cleanup on aisle 6 there, huh? We're gonna take these rectangles, and there's a clear right and wrong side, unlike most of the fabrics I use in tutorials for you guys. And the choir said, amen, hallelujah. She's using fabric with a right and wrong side. And we're going to place them wrong sides together. I know that sounds strange to those of you who are already experienced with the superpower of sew, but we want to place these wrong sides together, right sides facing out, because we're going to finish this as quickly and easily as we can, because we're making a dining scarf. And wouldn't we rather be making like a dress, or I don't know, a fancy quilted jacket, or I don't know, a gown with fringe and baubles? I know I would. There's one more thing I'm going to do to make the sewing of this easier. I've got my rectangles laid out here, ready for stitching. I'm just going to gently curve the 4 corners of this rectangle, because if you curve these 4 corners, those curved edges are going to make it so much easier on you to get a nice long swoop of double fold bias tape all around the perimeter. That's right, perimeter. I'm using a very math word. Somebody fact check me if that's the right word. It means the outside edges of the rectangle. Yeah? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're not going to have to do any folding or mitered corners or anything like that, because again, it's a dining scarf and we just want to be done with it, don't we? Yeah. The bib is basted. Now, you saw me do that without pins just now because it's 2 layers of cotton. They're ribbed to the exact size for each of these, and I can do that without pins. If you feel more comfortable sewing this with pins, just pin all the way around the perimeter of your curved edge rectangles and sew merrily along your way. But always remove your pins when you're stitching. Don't let me catch you sewing over a pin, y'all. Listen, sew over a pin, wreck your machine, but even worse, wreck your eyeball. Your eyeball. I like my eyes. Remove your pins as you sew. PSA over. This is a double fold bias tape. So you've got 2 clean edges, and when you open up the tape, you see these folds on the inside. We're going to use these folds as a guide to stitch this onto our bib. You know, I'm gonna stop calling it a bib. Who wants to call it a bib? Let's call it something glamorous, huh? A scarf, a wrap, a stole, a dining stole. We are now making a stole. All right, all right. Place the raw edge right up against the raw edge of the scarf. And then we're going to use that crease line of that fold as our guide to stitch this all the way around the perimeter of the scarf. Now, because you want your dining stole to look pretty when she's done, you're going to fold in the very beginning of your bias tape. I am going to pin this first curve for you so you guys can get an idea of what's going on here. So I folded in at the start of the bias. I'm matching up my raw edges. And when I get to this curve, I simply curve the bias tape around to meet that raw edge. And because this tape is cut on the bias, it will curve and conform to the curve of our dining stole. If we had left the hard edge of the rectangle, the 90-degree angle of the rectangle, we would have had to fold this bias tape and make it look nice on the outside. But because we did this curve and because this is bias, which will grow and stretch in pretty much whatever way you like, it can simply elegantly curve around our ever so elegant dining stole. So go ahead and pin all of this up if you like, or sew slow and just keep matching up those raw edges as you stitch, stitching right on the crease of the inside of that double fold bias tape. But really, if you sew slow and you sew carefully, you're not gonna have to go to the trouble of pinning all that bias tape around this stole. There are better things to be pinning. There are dresses and shirts and pants and evening gowns. Because making a dining bib is really how you want to be spending your time, isn't it? When you're on a little break from the action of the city, you just want to be making a dining bib, huh?
I think you should be wearing space buns for this, perhaps.
Why? Coming to where we started. So we're just going to overlap the end of our bias tape. You can see there's the fold of the fabric. I'm just going to stitch about a 1/2 inch past that, back stitch to lock it up. The stole is now completely encased in bias. We're going to cut off the excess. I had just enough bias tape to do this. 1 pack of bias tape is 3 yards, which is 108 inches, I think. So to go around the perimeter, my scarf measures 45 inches long by 9 inches wide. So if you're using quilting cotton, cut it on the cross grain at 45 inches across, and all you need is 1 package of bias tape in order to finish that up. Because we're talking easy here, right? Ain't we talking easy here while we're making our dining stoles to put under the tree, or the menorah, or the I don't know what else people put things under, but wherever you put your prizes, you know you want them to be easy, so you can put a lot of prizes under there. Next, we're going to take our bias tape and fold it to the inside of our stole. But when I say inside, I mean the other side, because this baby is going to be reversible. Maybe you want lemons one night. Maybe you want little tangerine swirl the other night. This prize gives you 2 options, huh? It's a reversible stole. We're going to start our folds right where we started stitching. Now, you want these folds to look pretty, and at that start right there, you see you've got that little excess of bias tape. What I like to do is think of it like wrapping a present. So I'm going to fold 1 corner in and do the same to the other corner, flip it down, and now you've got a nice pretty fold. Just going to pin that up and continue all the way around your dining stole. Just folding your bias tape over, throw a pin in, and keep on trucking. You see, around that curve, the bias tape conforms to the curve on both sides. We don't have to worry about mitering a corner or doing anything too fancy. Once you've got the perimeter all pinned up, edge stitch all the way around the perimeter of this bias tape, and that's going to finish it off. All right, last steps. Time to get our ironing board out here. We've got our stole. I folded it in half so that the edges meet. And this is my center point. This is the point that's going to be around your neck. And we want to make this section smaller so that it fits around your neck and there's not all this extra fabric around your neck. So give that center point a good press. Okay, we've got our center marked by that crease. I'm going to now fold my stole lengthwise, also known as the hot dog fold, matching up those edges, and right along that center crease, I'm going to measure up 1.5 inches from the edge. And I'm going to mark this in pen because you're not going to see this line once we're done stitching. Throw a pin in that, and we're going to stitch right along that line, back stitching at the beginning and end of that line. That little line of stitching has created a tuck for us, so that when we fold the scarf out again, we now have a nice little pleat at our neckline. So you're just going to arrange the scarf along that center line, and we still have our crease here that we made with our iron, and we're just going to stitch that tuck down. So you can pin right along that crease line, and stitch right along that line, back stitching at the beginning and the end. And that And that's it. The bib is done.
Ooh,
Yeah, the bib is done.
I like this side.
Donezo. Uh-huh. So stylish with your dining stole, huh?
Question.
Yeah.
How do you keep it closed?
All right, so we have one more thing to do. Let's put a closure on this. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye now. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to help.
Thank you. Step 18 of the dining bib. Dining stole. Dinorama. Dining extravaganza.
Measure once.
Measure twice.
Exactly.
Cut once. Mr. Harriell. Now you want your closure to hit just below your neck so that your stole stays on when you're eating. So just mark that with a pin, and I'm going to sew a hook and an eye. A hook right here and an eye right here, and it's going to close up nice and neat. You could also get some Velcro dots with glue on the back and literally stick one Velcro dot here, stick another right here, closed. Boom. Easy peasy. Let's throw that closure in right now. This gives me a very elegant closure to the stole. You can see it lies beautifully on one side and beautifully on the other side as well. Once we get rid of those little stray threads. Yeah, so elegant with my closure. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, and if I dribble, there's no problem. That is the dining stole, right? It's got a closure on it now.
Good.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I like it. Reversible. You know what? I bet Mom would like that.
Well, this was a lot of work, so I don't know if what. She done stole the stole.
I get it.
Waka waka.
Punny!
That's it, folks. Peace out.
Emphasis on peace.
I'm gonna go sew something that's not a dining bib.
And I'm gonna stay out of the way.
Bye.
Bye.
It worked.
That's perfect.
It's perfect, Mom.
I mean, I can't really even fit it in frame.